Sex does not bond a man to you. Neither do long talks or taking care of him or emotional support. Neither does saying, I love you. A man can have all of that and still not be bonded to you. He can love you and not trust you. He can love you and not respect you. Love and bonding are not the same thing. Tell me if this sounds familiar. No matter what you do, he just can't fully connect. Or maybe you're the man, and no matter how perfect she is, something is missing. You need to know that men bond through loyalty, and there's a biological process for building it. And without this, a man can try to be faithful, he can want to be, but he's fighting against his own biology. You're about to learn how male brains actually work and connect. If you're a woman, send this to your man. Watch it together. And if you're the man, you're about to understand why something has always felt off for you, even in relationships that looked perfect on paper. And I hear that one a lot. I'm Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist. I've spent over 16 years of training and experience helping couples figure out why the love was there, the sex was there, but the bond wasn't there. By the end of this video, you'll understand 4 key things. Why love and sex don't create the bond that you think they do. The brain chemistry behind how men actually attach. The secure loyalty formula at a high level, and what needs to happen for a man to feel truly bonded. Now, first, let's talk about the biggest misunderstanding that ruins more relationships than anything else. Most people think that men bond the exact same way that women do. Long talks, sharing feelings, words, snuggles, sex. That's how women tend to bond, not men. And I want to be clear here. Men get good feelings from that. They care, they can attach, but that doesn't form the deep loyalty, the emotional intimacy, the connection that says you are mine and I am yours. That's not what forms that in a male's nervous system. Most people assume that bonding works the same for both, and quite frankly, it doesn't. This is why most couples get confused when the man seems to just walk away. And I have a lot of male clients come to me and say, Adam, I don't know what's going on. We're doing everything our couples therapist told us to say, everything that the books say, everything the podcasts say, and nothing's working. I've never been more miserable. A man can love without this bond, by the way. He can love a woman, but that love won't feel fulfilling to him. The monogamous desire won't feel satisfying. His nervous system will actually try to get him to go and find another partner because the bonding isn't happening, even as he, as a man, is fighting tooth and nail to stay faithful. He can try to be faithful, but without this loyalty bonding, it is very hard for him to be monogamous and happy in that monogamy. Monogamy itself will begin to feel like a sacrifice. Now, you must build loyalty with a man. This happens in both directions, by the way, loyal to him and him loyal to you. There's a biological process for this, so don't worry just yet. I will show you exactly what to do. Every time I bring this out, women get very nervous and say, I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to fail. Let me show you. I want to be very clear though. A man can love a woman and still feel empty. That's him missing the one thing his brain needs to bond. It's not a problem with him and it's not a problem with her. It's a problem in the bonding experience between them. And it's 100% fixable. Now, if you want to go deeper on everything that I'm sharing in this video here today, I'll be teaching this at the Relationship Mastery Intensive from April 23rd to April 26th down in San Diego, California. I'd love to see you there. The link's in the description below. Now, when most people hear the phrase loyalty, they think things like submission or silence. They think they're going to have to shut up and just do what they're told. And I want to be very, very clear here. That is not what loyalty means, period. That's certainly not what it means to a man. It's not even close. Loyalty is not silence. It's not passive. And it's not just letting other people do anything they want. Loyalty for men, it means this. When there's a problem, you lock in at his side and face it with him. When there's a challenge, you don't point fingers and blame. You step in and we solve it together. See, the together piece is what matters. When things get tough, you are there and you make it better. Loyalty is a very active thing. It requires proactive behavior from you. And again, not doormat behavior, not submissive behavior, not, okay, Captain, tell me what to do behavior. That's not the process. This is not teaching catering. It's not teaching women to be weak. Women have to be very strong to step up as an equal in that moment. Men are built for hardship. They're built for survival. They're built for challenges. They're built for pain. Our systems, when you look at them, are designed to experience pain and suffering again and again and again on purpose. It's a fascinating study of male biology to understand that we are designed to seek out hardship on purpose to gather resources and strength and power. And then we are meant to come back and rest and heal and recover between. And that's one way that the male and female nervous systems link up. The male goes and faces hardship to gather resources and protect, comes back. The female nervous system is allowed to stay safe and calm. She enmeshes with him, she recovers his nervous system and allows him to keep facing hardship. That's probably a discussion for another day, but I want to put that idea in your head first. Men are meant for pain and suffering. And the more that the woman can help him during those times, the more his brain is programmed to see you as a trusted, beloved ally. If you're just a passive thing that he goes out and does and comes back, and then you're sitting there in the corner quietly waiting to be told what to do, not an active, rewarding, loyal partner at all. You're simply an object he comes home to. And even the best men will not bond with you in those times. Now, why are men built for this? Well, we look at our modern day and say, well, what purpose could that serve for men today? You're not going to have to go suffer and fight in the wilderness and probably die in a swamp somewhere. You're correct. But our nervous systems are not meant for the modern day. On the human time span, modern day is just a tiny little blip against an entire backdrop of hunter-gatherer survival in the wild. I have a sharp stick and I have to go fight predatory animals and giant prey animals that can kill me. Everything out there can kill me. And if I don't kill it faster, me and my family will starve and die, or I will get killed and then my family will die, or I will get maimed and disfigured and can't move and eventually starve to death. Life and death. Survival and success, therefore, went up when you had trusted allies that could enhance your chances of success. And our brains have vasopressin to say, when I was fighting that creature, and it was about to bite my head off, you killed it. And that saved my life. Because we worked together, we brought down this creature and fed our families. Our brain is incentivized to tag that person as a trusted ally, and next time say, when I needed you, you were there. Now, it doesn't matter who was most snuggly and happy and fuzzy back at camp. It matters what happened in the moment when I was facing death. Your brain prioritizes the bonding hormone vasopressin, and men have more receptors for this than women do. Women have receptors for it, but men have more because we prioritized going out and fighting and dying. If you can picture a group of women pregnant at 9 months, waddling around trying to fight a mammoth, you can see why biologically men are supposed to go out and face it. Women are not. We evolved to value it this way. The men who didn't died horribly, by the way, and the men who did value loyalty survived. Loyalty is not, therefore, about staying quiet. If you're out on a hunt with him, you don't stay quiet and just sit in the corner and stay out of his way. It's about stepping into the hard stuff together. There's a mammoth charging him and you throw your spear and hit it in the eye, and it blinks and turns and doesn't kill him, and it gives him a chance to stab it in the neck, and now it's dead, and he knows you made that possible. Active, strength, loyalty. That's what bonds a man. Challenges, stress, and problem solving. The military, by the way, knows this. That's how they bond units. Street gangs know this. That's how they bond each other. Construction crews know this. Every system where men work together to beat challenges, that is what really bonds them. That's where the real connection forms, the trust. If you've ever seen World War II veterans wheeled up on stage at 90 plus years old, and they get up and weep and hug each other shamelessly, that's the old vasopressin bond activating. When I almost died fighting our enemies, you were there, and now I see you again, and we're reunited. That's the strength of this bond. Even decades later, men remember that loyalty. Our romantic relationships need to work the same way if we want fulfilling monogamy and lifelong bonding. Now, it's even better than this. Scientists have figured out how to make faithful animals cheat and how to make unfaithful animals become loyal and monogamous with one hormone. Let me show you what they found. Now, I told you that men have more vasopressin receptors than women do. Vasopressin is that bonding hormone that turns on when you beat challenges together. When you're hunting together and you survive, amazing. Again, women have vasopressin also. but men have more receptors for it. When you lower stress together as a team, vasopressin bonds you. It's an activation in your brain that also associates and says, you brought my stress down. Okay? It tags a feeling in your brain. You are valuable. I trust you. I want you around. You help me handle problems. I need to keep you. Now, women's system's designed differently. Okay? It runs mostly on oxytocin, safety, nurturing. You're designed to be more sensitive to the health of a relationship, the nurturing, the snuggling, the kissing, the spontaneous affection, the closeness. Your brain is designed to detect that better. Oxytocin helps with birth. It actually contracts the uterus to allow for live birth, or orgasm, by the way. It helps with feeding babies by allowing the letdown of milk. Most women who think they have a milk supply problem, often they're stressed out and have low oxytocin, so it's not a supply issue. It's actually a letdown issue from low oxytocin. Oxytocin signals safety in the relationship. Men are wired to detect challenge-based loyalty. If his brain doesn't think you're a trusted ally, it often will reclassify you as a problem to be tracked and solved. Women are wired to detect safety-based connection. Very different. Hunters faced threats and died. Gatherers needed harmony in the social group to minimize arguing. This is also why they think that women primarily will ask more questions to try to direct thinking, while men will make bold, direct statements, even if it leads to confrontation. Women minimize confrontation to minimize disruption in a safe, nurturing unit. We survive better when we do that, especially hunter-gatherers. Totally different systems. Now, there's also an avoidant shift we need to talk about from the Dr. Sue Carter's research. Attachment problems in childhood often create low oxytocin, especially for avoidantly attached individuals. The brain in them learns no one's going to nurture me or make me feel safe, ever. So they flood with cortisol and their oxytocin receptors close. They prevent oxytocin bonding at all. Their brain says, don't get sentimental, don't bond, no one will ever care about me, it's me alone against the world. This is supposed to create a lone wolf survivor. Now, as those oxytocin receptors shift and become more dormant, they transform instead to receive vasopressin even more. Remember I said that attachment creates brain chemistry? In this case, men have more vasopressin receptors to begin with, and then their oxytocin receptors shift and create more vasopressin receptors. Avoidant men have even more vasopressin receptors than securely attached men do. This is why avoidantly attached men often do well in high-stress jobs, executives, co-founders, all of that, but especially if they can find somebody they can actually trust to solve problems with. The tragedy of avoidantly attached men is they are over-primed for vasopressin, but refuse to ever let someone solve a problem with them. If they would let it happen once, they would flood with bonding. If you want to get in and bond with an avoidant man, oxytocin will almost never do it from the beginning. You have to get in with vasopressin instead. Now, the studies that I mentioned earlier about turning mammals unfaithful or turning them faithful if they were cheating, this is fascinating. If you block vasopressin in faithful animals, they start cheating almost right away. Intensely monogamous, mate-guarding, protective, loving, intimate, block their vasopressin receptors, all of a sudden, poof, they start cheating. Now, if you take animals that previously were cheating and flood them with vasopressin and guide them to associate it with their partner, right, their one partner, so that they say, I have vasopressin with you, they become fiercely protective, loyal, monogamous, the most protective partners in the group when they're flooded with associated vasopressin. Fascinatingly, and the reason we use rodent brains in research is because they mimic human brains in a very real way. Human brains are very similar. That's why we use these studies. Now, this right here is exactly why if a couple goes through a major crisis and they haven't built vasopressin bonding, the man will often move away from his partner to solve alone and might move toward a female coworker, a secretary, someone who helps him, his assistant, someone who nurtures him during that time and builds oxytocin and vasopressin during a crisis. That's what often leads to affairs, especially work-based affairs. Go through a crisis, not vasopressin bonded, shift away, affair. This is not to excuse it, by the way, but this is what often creates that pattern. Now that you understand the chemistry, let's put it together into a formula and show you how to use it. Because once you see this, everything will shift and start to make sense. Okay? There's a formula me and my team have built to deploy this successfully for you. And I'm going to show you why you've been breaking down before and things haven't worked and how to balance it properly. There's an equation here. First, you have attraction. Attraction is oxytocin plus dopamine, and oxytocin releases GABA, which suppresses cortisol and stress. We'll talk about that in a moment. Most couples are hyperfixating on oxytocin and dopamine over and over and over. This is spicing up the relationship. This is date nights. This is going to your couples therapist and they tell you to snuggle more. That's the attraction piece, and it's important. It needs to be high. Now, with that is a plus, commitment. Commitment is vasopressin, that bonding hormone when you solve problems together, plus serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter released when you're in a peace mode. It's a bigger, better version of dopamine, if you want to think of it that way. Dopamine is released in small little amounts or even big amounts, but it burns out fast. Serotonin is the feeling of, I am content. I'm at peace. This feels great. Everything is good. It's the grass is green on my side. I don't need to go look for greener grass anywhere else. Serotonin is released especially when you have high levels of oxytocin and vasopressin together and your nervous system is calm. Now that's divided altogether by cortisol. You don't want cortisol at 0 because that means nobody cares. You want a little bit of balanced cortisol, but it needs to be there and it needs to be low. So you have attraction plus commitment divided by cortisol equals loyalty. This is what creates a biochemical incentive for a human to stay in a tight relationship with somebody else. This is loyalty. This is monogamy. This is deeply fulfilling monogamy in particular. But I'll be honest with you, just knowing this changes everything. Because most couples, when they're trying to fix their problems, are hyperfixating just on oxytocin and dopamine alone, trying to reduce cortisol to 0. That's a panic cycle, and that's what couples therapy often leads to. That's what spicing up the relationship is. That's why it almost never works. So what does it look like when this is actually a functioning equation in a proper couple? Now, when a man bonds securely, here's what the relationship actually looks like. First, he can come and talk to his wife or his girlfriend about challenges that he's facing. He can say, here's something that I'm facing. Here's a problem. Here's a challenge. Here's a difficulty. He can share what he's thinking about doing in that. He can bounce ideas off of her. He can get help, get assistance, get advice, just openly share because he's not ashamed and he knows that when she's there and involved, she makes things better. The male brain, it sees a problem in the back, it observes and detects, and then it goes forward immediately to act upon it. And this is what most men do when they make decisions quickly, which can help, especially on a hunt, but it doesn't really help in the long-term expanded vision of what you're wanting to create. Most men have a hard time breaking down multiple consequences, relationships. That's because the female brain does that. The female brain sees a problem and then goes back and forth across the hemispheres to analyze relationships, consequences, how it affects people, right? Refine the plan, everything. So when you take the male brain, he finds a problem and then detects a solution and brings that to the female brain and integrates it with her correctly, her brain takes his solution, pulls it apart, and builds a much improved, refined version of it. The brains, fascinatingly, are meant to work together in peace and trust. Hey, can I run something by you? Can I show this to you? Can I talk to you about something? Here's what I'm thinking. Here's a problem I'm facing. Here's how I feel about that problem. It's really frustrating. Here's what I think I'm going to do about that. But before I do, have I missed anything here? Is there anything you'd like to add to this? Anything that would be an improvement? And her brain scans it and builds those improvements for him. Now, what's even better here is as they program in and start solving problems together, more and more vasopressin happens. He trusts her. He's invested. Here's what's even better. She can begin detecting problems and bring the problem to him. His brain observes it, takes it seriously, by the way, ladies out there who feel invalidated. When he's feeling trusted and connected with her through vasopressin, he takes it seriously and says, if you're telling me there's a problem, I believe you. He pulls it apart and says, okay, I think here's the challenge. Here's what we can do about it. He brings that solution and she starts working on that solution together. Now they get a refined solution. Ladies out there, tell me in a comment, how much on a scale of 1 to 10 would you love it if you could bring any problem to your man? He would instantly take it seriously and begin building a peaceful solution with you on the spot. 1 to 10, tell me in a comment if you'd love that or not. Let the guys see the numbers out there because the numbers speak for themselves. But here's the thing. As the couple continues building solutions together, Every challenge you ever face for the rest of your life is a way to build vasopressin. Ladies, it turns out you don't have to go hunt a mammoth with him or go to war with him. You can just solve the problems that life brings you, and that makes him fiercely monogamous. Now, ultimately, that's what a real bond looks like and feels like. Not just the emotional good stuff, but true partnership. Now, if you're watching this right now and thinking, I want that, good. Here's what you're going to need to do. Now, if you're a man watching this video, or if your wife or girlfriend has shown you this video, and I hope that's the case, because couples need to be working on this together. This is an important conversation. First, men need to practice some very key things in their relationships. First, if you're avoidantly attached or just trying to hold back on creating a burden for other people, you must face hard things on purpose with other people. That means letting other people work with you on challenges. Stop solving your problems alone. Most avoidantly attached people think they are Rambo, lone wolf, lone survivor. That prevents you from bonding. So all those male clients who come to me and say, Adam, she's perfect on paper, but we're at a year and I've just never felt less attracted to her than I do today. You're solving all your problems alone and not allowing her to step in. A big piece of this, quite frankly, is that men don't even talk about challenges. They don't even talk about the problems. The woman in your life says, tell me about your day. That's the same as always. It's great. It's fine. No problems. No, you face challenges every day. Talk about the challenges and the solutions. Like I told you a moment ago, find solutions and refine them with her. The next thing you have to do is accept that you're not perfect. Let others accept you too for not being perfect, with respect, by the way, not pity. Most men won't share their challenges because it sounds like whining to them. But when you have what's called solution-focused sharing, sharing the problem, looking for solutions and building them, they grow in respect for you. They say, this is a man taking charge, not, oh, look at him, he has issues. Everyone has issues. Solve problems with people so they understand you. Next, be clear about what you need. Tell her exactly what loyalty looks like for you. Go through this video together. If you're the guy finding this, take this to her. Stop waiting for her to figure it out. Loyalty often doesn't come natural to her. And I have to be careful when I say that. It's not that women aren't loyal. It's that this level of vasopressin, stress, and pain-based loyalty is not typically something women seek out on purpose with each other. It's something that they actually try to avoid because they're prioritizing oxytocin-based bonding. Fascinatingly, though, this is why women dig so hard to figure out what your problems are. They want to do this with you. They don't know what they know. It's instinctive way back in the brain of, I need to be working with him. But most women don't know how to do it, and most men won't let it happen. You are blocking her loyalty. You need to show her what you want and allow her to get in close to work with you. Get out of both of your way. Now, most people think that loyalty is passive. I started this video by explaining that men need loyalty to be very active. Men can't just wait for her to figure it out. He needs to lead her through this process and see if she's someone that can work with him. Now for the hard part. There are things that break this bond completely, things that destroy loyalty. And most people have no idea that they're doing them in a relationship. First, and this is true, getting anxious and stressed out during problems, fluttering around, making it worse, getting in his way instead of locking in. Most avoidant men resonate with this that I'm about to tell you. His idea is that he's wandering through a very hard, difficult, painful world. He either is going to have a woman walking calmly at his side, or if she's anxious and stressed, he has to strap her to his back while she's screaming and crying and navigate through this dangerous world alone while trying to protect her. Ladies, don't be the one who's strapped to his back, screaming and crying, getting in his way, kicking him, biting him. Don't do that. Mentally, that's what his brain will think is happening. This doesn't mean you can't have anxiety or that you can't be stressed. But if you tend to make things worse, on his worst days, you make it worse. You see his frustrated face and assume it's your fault and then agitate him by demanding to know what you did wrong when he's really frustrated at this thing at work and this problem and this guy. You make his life worse. His brain reclassifies you not as a trusted partner, but as a problem to be continuously solved. As an obstacle to solving his problems, in fact. Another thing that women accidentally do is stepping back and letting him solve everything alone. He seems to want to. I'll just get out of his way. I'll try to take care of him. I'll try to snuggle him later. No vasopressin bonding at all. He's just handling everything himself. Another one is creating problems, hoping he'll fix them. Hey, I made a problem. He fixed it. I found an issue, he fixed it for me. I needed the pickle jar opened, he did it. I set my car on fire, he put it out, right? We bonded. That is not how vasopressin works. Mothering him also, by the way, destroys vasopressin, trying to fix all his problems before they happen, removing all friction from the relationship. He actually needs friction to bond with you. He needs you to be presenting challenges that you can then solve together as a couple. He needs you to bring those problems forward, not solve them alone yourself so that he never sees them. I'm going to be bluntly honest with you. This is a real problem in most relationships, especially the men who come to me in my coaching practice. I had an avoidant man come to me just a month ago. He said he'd been with his girlfriend for 3 years. Specifically, what he said was, Adam, she's perfect on paper. I want her to be the mother of my children. I can't picture anyone else. And then he followed it up with, I have absolutely no fulfillment. I have no sexual desire for her. That is gone. I want other women I see on the street more than I want her. I think there's something wrong with me. And I think to protect her from me, I have to walk away. Now, I had to look him in the eye and say, she's not the problem. You are. But it's not that you're broken. It's that you are blocking the one bonding hormone that would actually make you fulfilled in your monogamy. You're not vasopressin bonding with her. He was not building loyalty. She made his life so easy. She removed every point of friction. She minimized her personality. She was calm and compliant at all times. She was like a doll to him. He could just move her however and whenever he wanted. She would never say no. She would never have needs, never have challenges. And by the way, when they would solve problems, he would pull away and solve on his own. She would just put her hands up and wait for him to come back. Zero friction, zero vasopressin. Zero loyalty. It was driving him crazy. Their relationship was so perfect. This happy little bubble where no one talked about problems, no friction, no bond. When we changed how they worked together, by the way, I said he came to me last month, 3 weeks. 3 weeks of introducing vasopressin bonding, facing challenges as a team. All of a sudden, he was stepping into problems with her, inviting her in, and she was stepping in full force. Instead of removing them for him, life got better in 3 weeks. It finally was a real relationship. His desire for her went up. Her safety went up. Her life satisfaction went up. She thought she had to erase herself to please him. 3 weeks, you guys. Everything can transform very, very quickly. Now, after watching this video, you understand the science. You know what loyalty actually means to a man, and you know what builds it and also what breaks it. But knowing and doing are two completely different things. Just like sex and talking about your feelings are not going to be enough to build a relationship that lasts, you're going to have to work through your biology. And until you do, your relationship is doomed to just fall apart. I know that's not what you want. That's exactly why I created the Relationship Mastery Intensive. In this event, in 3 days, we will go deep on exactly what you need to do to build this bond. You'll walk away from that event knowing exactly how to do this, not just understanding it, but with the practical experience and skills needed to make it happen. Now, that event is taking place April 23rd to April 26th down in San Diego, California. I would love to see you there. The link with more information is down in the description. Now, I also made a video on what happens when one partner pulls away and the other person chases. If you're dealing with that dynamic, everything I explained gets 10 times harder. That video is on screen right here. Click it and I'll see you there.